Welcome, Sens Talk.
Puts the lines in, feeds it back across, Tkachuk and scores! Brady Tkachuk makes it 2-0. Giroux, hit alone, scores!
Tim Stutzel across, Tkachuk score! The captain, Brady Tkachuk, buries it with 1:18 to go.
See you later. Go, Sens, go. Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I am your host. We have some breaking news today coming out of the nation's capital as the Ottawa Senators have shuffled their goaltending department. Now, before I get into today's news, I just want to say a couple things. Firstly, I saw your comments. We're going to leave the towel up. Is it already down? No. I bet in the next few minutes it's going to drop, but I saw your comments. I see that you guys love the towel and you love it dropping, so we'll leave it. I'm not going to change it. You guys seem to love it, so we'll leave it at that. And speaking of the comments, by the way, I try to get to as many of your comments as possible. There's hundreds of comments. Hundreds of comments nearly per video. So just know if I haven't responded to your comment yet, I will, and I do apologize. I make an effort always to respond to every single comment. So I've been slacking a little bit on that lately. To be honest with you, school is absolutely insane right now. So I do apologize. I will comment as soon as possible. I just wanted to say that as well, just on the topic of commenting. Now, let's get into today's news. Enough with the Sens Talk bulletin board news, I suppose. So today we have some news coming out of the nation's capital that I kind of predicted happening just yesterday. I tweeted saying that the Ottawa Senators should probably replace Zack Burke as the goaltending coach. And just over 24 hours later, I don't know if Steve Stais or Michael Anlau or somebody else, but there's somebody in that Sens organization for sure that has a burner account. Now, obviously cannot confirm that, but it's crazy that just over 24 hours after tweeting out that the Sens probably should replace the goaltending coach, considering how bad our goaltending's been over the last few years, they finally make the move. As Zack Burke is now out as the Sens goaltending coach, he's been removed as the coach and has shifted over to a scouting and development position. As Belleville Senator goaltending coach Justin Peters has been promoted to the Ottawa Senator goaltending coach position. This is a well-earned promotion for Justin Peters. I'll get into the Belleville goaltending stats of last year and this year in a moment. But like I just said, this is a well-earned promotion for Justin Peters, who since taking over as the Belleville Senator goalie coach in April of 2021 has put up great results. Look, he's developed multiple goaltenders into the National Hockey League already, like Joey Daccord, Philip Gustafson, to name a couple. He's also really helped the development of our goalies right now, our prospects, our key goaltending prospects, like, of course, Matt Sogard, Levi Merilainen, and, of course, Kevin Mandolese. And, Belleville last year had like 10 to 11 different starting goaltenders because the Ottawa Senators were dealing with a lot of injuries. All three of the goalies that I just mentioned had to get called up a lot, so that left a lot of holes for the Belleville Senators. But also they dealt with injuries down there too, like Antoine Bibeau, for example, got hurt for a while. So Justin Peters has worked with a lot of different goaltenders, so he has a lot of experience with pro goaltending, and that's key, especially since Peters was literally playing professional hockey just a few years ago, right? So he has a lot of experience with a lot of pros. So I'm not worried about whether this is a bad decision, purely off the fact that he has the experience to deal with any goalie because he's worked with a lot in a short time span with the Belleville Senators. But Steve Stais today in his statement said that it is our belief that the time has come for a fresh perspective. So clearly, the Ottawa Senators like what Justin Peters has done in Belleville, but more so wanted a change in the goaltending department here in Ottawa. And we're going to get into Belleville stats, why Peters has a strong, track record. We'll also take a look at the track record of Zack Burke of this year. Because it's not great, to be honest with you, but I wish nothing but the best of Zack Burke. It's nothing personal, just not getting results. Just like DJ Smith, if you're not getting results, you gotta go. So he still has a job. It's not like he's getting fired. He's just now in scouting and development. Likely will specialize on goaltenders, as he should. Of course, he has a lot of expertise in that area. But now let's get into some Belleville Senator stats and why I personally think this is a great, at least for the next few months here, a great hire for the Ottawa Senators. But as well, there's some organizational familiarity, so that always helps as well. And I think, obviously you're not going to see something change like that for the goalies, but, we saw it with Carey Price. When they hired, I forget his name, but they hired a very, very good goalie coach that turned around his entire career. So goalie coaches are far more important than people really, really think. And we've seen that with stats in Belleville. Look, when you look at the Belleville Senators stats, one thing really sticks out to you. All three goalies have an above, or at least at the very minimum, a 900 save percentage. You can't say that for the Ottawa Senators in any regard. So immediately, massive upgrade in terms of potential results. I mean, here's the results right now for Ottawa's goalies that have been coached by Justin Peters this year in Belleville, who, by the way, the Belleville Senators, we've already been mentioning it the last few videos, been on an absolute heater. But they look to be a wagon, to be honest with you. They nearly won 8 games in a row. They've won 8 out of their last 9. They just won the other day. So Belleville is really very much so on the come up. Their goaltending is a massive reason why. Matt Sogard, who now is in the NHL due to Forsberg's injury, in 16 games this year, .920 save percentage, 2.48 goals against average. Fantastic stuff there. Kevin Mandolese, .900 save percentage, 3.25 goals against average in 12 games. He's also playing in the ECHL, putting up some decent numbers. Same thing with Levi Merlinen, who's also shifted between the NHL and the AHL. He's had a very solid year as well in 8 games. .905 save percentage, 3.23 goals against average. So in a small-ish sample size this year, I suppose, the Ottawa Senator prospects have all been doing very, very well. Justin Peters has to get some credit for that, no doubt. And once again, look, for the Ottawa Senators, their goaltending has been abysmal this year. It is absolutely terrible. It is the worst in the National Hockey League on many metrics, which we're going to get into right now. But if you just look at the basic league-wide, save percentage, it is .899. The Ottawa Senators average for save percentage is .882. That is 17 points below league average. We're going to get into some advanced analytics, over Korpisalo and Forsberg that can really show, some of their negative traits and why they're struggling this year. But I also, and we'll get into it now, I want to take a look at the individual stats of Forsberg and Korpisalo as well. But it's very clear that there's a goaltending issue. I mean, it's not shocking that this move has been made, to be honest with you. Obviously, the stats would suggest that a move had to be made. But just look at all the goaltenders that have left the Sens organization have gotten better immediately after leaving. Cam Talbot, Philip Gustafsson, Joey Daccord. The list goes on, right? So it's unbelievable how many goalies have left and gotten better when leaving. And when the save percentage overall on the team has been 17 points below league average, a move had to be made for sure. So let's start off with Joonas Korpisalo, who has been terrible as of late, and has the last 11 starts, only has won 3 of those starts. He has an 8-15-0 record this year with an .884 save percentage and a 3.70 goals against average. Just absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. That's 20 points down or so from last year. And Anton Forsberg not doing much better in 16 games this year, so 10 less than Korpisalo. He has a bit of a better record at 7-8-0 and a bit of a better save percentage at .889 at .335, but this is marginal. The only better thing that he has over Korpisalo, these are marginal differences, is 1 shutout, I guess. So needless to say, the goaltending has been terrible for the Ottawa Senators this year, and a big issue and a big reason why they haven't won many games. Now, in my opinion, I'm no expert, but I played goalie before. I'm a big fanatic over goalies. I love goalie pads. I love helmets. I love goalie culture. I love it all. But obviously, I'm not an NHL goalie coach. I'm not an expert, but this is what my opinion is on the Sens goalie situation. I think quite often for big goalies like, Joonas Korpisalo and Anton Forsberg, these are tall netminders, all right? These are big guys. They're often crouching, and I know butterfly position, you're going to have to get down. I understand that. I'm not an old guy. I understand the new game. You got to play the butterfly or the hybrid. I understand that. But I do think the butterfly is kind of hurting Forsberg and Korpisalo, to be honest with you. A lot of the time, they get down in the butterfly right away, or they're crouching, leaving a lot of the net open. So I think they need to play more of a hybrid style, stay on your feet a bit more. I'm obviously more than okay with the goalies playing the butterfly style. It is obviously for a reason the most used style of goaltending. But what I will say once again is they crouch quite a bit. A lot of goals beat, Korpisalo especially, but Forsberg too. Glove side, above the glove, or just above the shoulders in general. So they got to do a much better job at standing up, protecting the entire net, and really utilizing, their size. Once again, these goalies are very athletic. Forsberg and Korpisalo are very athletic goaltenders that are known for their athleticism. So they can get back. They can play a hybrid style. They can play more of a loose style on their feet. I think that would be much more beneficial for these guys who quite often are getting beat up high and are allowing a lot of goals that, frankly, they should stop. So I think just changing their style a little bit, tinkering with it, is what I think they should do. But I am really intrigued to see what Peters does with Korpisalo and Forsberg, the technical changes they make. Because once again, look, with Carey Price, there's a few changes. Stop crouching, get more on your feet, stand up. and suddenly he's one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League and the world, right? So I'm not saying Korpisalo and Forsberg are going to become Carey Price. I'm just saying a little bit of an adjustment can do a wonders for a player. So I think that's one piece of adjustment that I would personally like to see change. I think they need to be far more aggressive and utilizing their height and their size instead of crouching and trying to look around players. They need to utilize their height, and I hope to see that with Peters. But regardless, I'll leave that to the experts. But I want to take a look at some advanced stats here, and we'll leave it off with this just to kind of give you a better idea at how bad goaltending has been for the Ottawa Senators this year, how it's been one of the negative marks for the Ottawa Senators, and it's why Zac Burke is no longer the goalie coach for the Sens as well. And I know this is a bit of a longer video, but I wanted to dedicate at least 13 to 15 minutes to make a video like this, and I think this is an appropriate time to do so in regards to the goalie situation with Ottawa right now. I haven't really done a deep dive into the Senators' goaltending situation, but as you've already can tell, as I've explained thoroughly in this video, there's quite a bit of issues with the Ottawa Senators and their goaltending department right now. Some of these advanced stats I'm going to look through with you guys right now as well will further prove that, but this has been a real issue for the Ottawa Senators, and I've only mentioned it a little bit briefly in the recaps and stuff, but I really want to do a deep dive. So let's take a look at the advanced stats. And, like I just mentioned with the crouching and stuff, this can be seen via proof, literal evidence, literal statistics in the advanced statistics. Look, with Anton Forsberg, he's the 4th worst goalie in the National Hockey League that have played 10 or more games in the NHL this year for low danger unblocked shot attempt save percentage, all right? So essentially a lot of shots that are not getting blocked, these are shots that are far out, 30, 40, 50 feet near the blue line, are beating Forsberg at a far above average rate, okay? A lot of those shots that probably should be stopped are not being stopped. Well, as well, if you look at, Jonas Korpisalo, he's marginally better at best. And by the way, with Jonas Korpisalo, he is 3rd worst in leagues for wins above replacement, which is essentially how many wins they can contribute, essentially, at negative 1.91. He is 3rd worst in the league. That is unbearably terrible, and I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter, of course, down below in my videos, saying that Jonas Korpisalo has never been an established starter in the National Hockey League, and, the stats that we're seeing this year are, just average for the rest of his career. That is just wrong. That is just wrong. Is he a 9-10, 9-15, 9-20 type of guy? No. But this guy consistently has put up 9 to 9-10 above league average numbers, and the advanced stats have never been this bad for Korpisalo. So, just for Korpisalo's sake alone, he is struggling mightily. Obviously, Forsberg is too, but Korpisalo is being paid as a starter. Forsberg only has not even a year left with the Ottawa Senators, right? So Forsberg, not really the future. Korpisalo seen as the future. $5 million for at least the next few years here in Ottawa. So that's why it's so concerning to see him regress so much. And that's why I really want to see some technical changes from Peters. Last thing I'll mention in terms of advanced stats before we wrap up this video is Jonas Korpisalo and Anton Forsberg are also they're both top 10 worst in goals saved above expected per 60. It's negative 0.575 for Anton Forsberg and negative 0.478 for Jonas Korpisalo. Both also, by the way, are top 10 worst for goals saved above expected in the National Hockey League, as Korpisalo is third at 11.5, Forsberg at 7.9, both in the negatives, of course. Needless to say, once again, in every advanced statistic, the Ottawa Senators are there for the worst reasons for goaltending, okay? And just at the basic stats alone, 32nd in the National Hockey League for save percentage at 882 alone is terrible. When you take a deep dive into the advanced analytics, it looks even worse. So clearly, Forsberg and Korpisalo need a bit of a change. They need, definitely some technical improvements. And I really do hope that Justin Peters is the answer to that problem. He's done great work with the guys in the AHL. Hopefully, he will do so with the guys in the National Hockey League. But besides that, let me know what you guys think down below. Of course, I'll leave it at that. I've been rambling for long enough. But yeah, besides that, I will see you all soon. Ottawa plays the Colorado Avalanche tomorrow. Matt Sogard was in the starters net today, so he looks to be starting tomorrow for his first start in the National Hockey League this year. But that is just a projection. We'll see tomorrow, of course, if that ultimately happens. I do hope he starts, though. I mean, obviously, he's a friend of the show. We always love to see friends of the show make it to the National Hockey League and get opportunities. But, I mean, Korpisalo hasn't exactly given himself the edge over Sogard, and this would be his first start of the year. He deserves an opportunity. Yeah, sure, look, it's a tough opponent like the Colorado Avalanche, but Sogard will have to get in there eventually. And hopefully, you know what? You never know. Maybe Sogard can go on a crazy run here. But yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow after Ottawa takes on the Colorado Avalanche. Hopefully we can get that W. Besides that, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.